Amazon has suddenly gone radio silent on their self-reported 25 million global viewers around the world in 24 hours watched the premiere of Rings of Power. 25 million self-reported. And now here we are, 4 episodes into the season, and they don't talk about the viewership anymore. Why are you not talking about the viewership? Why are we not talking about the audience retention? Why aren't we talking about how many of those 25 million have returned and how many more people you have gained along the way? Probably because those numbers are not going to tell a very good story. But again, in isolation, I don't really have a problem with you marketing in the way you need to market. That is business 101. I totally understand that. I have no real problem with that in isolation. But it's starting to remind me of another situation that we're going to talk about here very soon. Now, the clapping seals, the same clapping seals that were praising that 25 million number when they wanted to say, oh, look, all of these angry YouTubers must be seething. Why? We actually know how to read, and we actually saw where it said sampled in there. Now, of course, Amazon's not going to tell us what sampled means. Does that mean that, 10,000 people clicked on it for 20 seconds? Did that mean 2 million people clicked on it for 20 seconds and clicked away? What does sampled actually mean? Well, we're never going to find out. But again, use the numbers how you need to use the numbers. Don't really have a problem with that. But it's starting to remind me of another situation. Now, first, let's look at this. You have this post from Rings of Power, 25 million global viewers in the first 24 hours. Thank you for making Rings of Power the most watched series premiere on Prime Video. Yay, yes, Queen. This is the most brave and stunning moment of our lifetimes. Yet now here we are, 4 episodes later, and I don't have an update. It's pretty interesting how that works. And now you start thinking about it. Why are we not getting an update? And I started to think about another situation that we saw not too long ago, and that would be The Last of Us Part 2. Remember the reports of The Last of Us Part 2? It sold 4 million copies, breaking Sony's PS4 record. It was the greatest success in the history of video games, according to the shill media, according to the clapping seals out there. But then you start thinking about it, and you're thinking, that doesn't really add up. Like, yes, I felt that this game would sell a lot of copies. I felt like this game would sell a massive amount of copies in the first launch week or two or whatever. And I have no doubt that they sold quite a few copies, and they moved a lot more in terms of they had a lot of product in the stores. But once you saw the reaction of this game, you realized really quickly, hey, this isn't really moving the needle like they're trying to make us believe that it is. Now, The Last of Us, the first Last of Us, is one of the great games of the last few generations. I loved that game. Most people loved that game, rightfully so. It's a fantastic game. But we had a lot of problems with The Last of Us Part 2. And prior to the release of The Last of Us Part 2, Naughty Dog was striking YouTube channels. This is one of them. And they struck our gaming channel, Geeks and Gamers Play, as well. They also struck Ryan Kendall's channel multiple times. They struck many YouTubers for false claims. All of their claims were ultimately rejected with the appeals process. We won, they lost. But the damage was done. They silenced us enough to where they could get their marketing campaign out. Now, they sold a lot of copies. After this initial 4 million copies, we never really heard any more updates. We didn't hear any more updates. And people were like, well, where's the update? Now, the clapping seals were out there telling you, oh, they sold 4 million copies. It broke records. You're just angry. You're just an angry guy in his basement. You're like, no, I actually just want to hear the updates. I just want to hear what the update is. Now, after it was all said and done, the media decided Last of Us Part 2 has sold 10 million copies. Such an amazing accomplishment. Well, that number sounds really impressive until you start to think about it a little more. You're like, well, wait a minute. You sold 4 million copies on the launch of a game that had a pre-existing fan base, and you ultimately only sold 10 million copies? Because if you start to think about that, you go, well, what did the first Last of Us sell? Well, the first Last of Us sold 20 million. Pretty interesting. Wait a minute. So you're telling me that you lost 50% of your fan base? So this was a glowing success according to Naughty Dog, But according to the numbers we have here, and this is on VGCharts.com, this is The Last of Us. The first Last of Us sold 20 million units. 20 million. The Last of Us Part 2 ultimately moved 10 million. You lost 50% of your audience. 50%, and that's supposed to be a success? Now, when this initial announcement happened, the same clapping seals would all tell you, yes, this is the greatest game ever. Look, they sold 4 million copies. You guys have been destroyed. And we're like, well, where's the update? Where's the updated information? And that's why it's starting to look very, very similar to this right here. Where's the updated viewership numbers, Amazon? I would really like to know. Now, when you talk about The Last of Us Part 2 moving 10 million versus the previous beloved game selling 20 million, I have more numbers for you. Let's go to one of the best series in video games, God of War. God of War 1 sold 4 million copies. God of War 2, 4 million copies. God of War 3, 5 million. That's my personal favorite God of War game, by the way. Now, I'm not gonna talk about like Chains of Olympus or the others. I'm talking about the mainline God of War games. So you have 4 million for God of War, 4 million for God of War 2, 5 million for God of War 3, improving, and then you get to God of War 2018, 15 million copies. You increased 10 million over the previous game. That is how you can tell if something is a true success or not. If you're continuing to build upon the foundation in which you have laid. The Last of Us Part 2 was a massive failure compared to The Last of Us, the first one. It also tells us that these games that they like to play is all meant to bring in the bots and the mindless zombies out there and fool them into thinking that something is a success. But all you have to do is kind of get the feel of the internet. Get the feel of the internet. Like, are people talking about The Last of Us Part 2? No, they're not. No one's really talking about The Last of Us Part 2 when it released outside of criticizing it. No one was praising it. No one was telling you how great it was. A lot of people were just saying, this was really bad or really disappointing. Even people that weren't caught up in the nonsense with Naughty Dog. A lot of people were just like, this is bad. That's the same exact thing that's going on with Rings of Power right now. You can say you had 25 million viewers. You can say that it broke all of your records. But the reality of the situation is we're looking around, we're having discussions with people, and no one is really talking about this show in a positive way. The only people that are talking about it in a positive way are the people that are shilling for it, the people that are getting the benefits from it, the people that are getting their Audible access. Yeah, wink, wink on that one, right? Wink, wink, right? Oh, just Audible. Yeah, thanks for sponsoring me, Audible. I'm not an Amazon shill. Wink, wink, right? Oh, of course not. No, there's no way you could be an Amazon shill with Audible. Of course not. So no, nobody's really praising it. So it just reminded me of that, and I thought it was interesting. Will we ever get an update? I don't know. I have no idea if we're going to get an update, but we're going to continue to roast the living hell out of it. There's so much going on right now. I just watched Cyberpunk Edgerunners, the first episode. I really liked it a lot. I think I'm going to watch the entire series and probably do a little review here on the channel for it. Obviously, I love Cobra Kai. I think it's fantastic. I've been playing Splatoon 3. I'm loving it. We play it every Wednesday on Geeks and Gamers Play. So I'm really loving Splatoon 3. Modern Warfare 2 is coming out. Still feels weird to say Modern Warfare 2. But Modern Warfare 2 is coming out. We've been playing Fortnite with our premium members on Thursday. It's just there's a lot going on. Obviously, we have football season here, so we're covering that over on Sports Wars and everything else that is going on. So thank you guys for the support. We greatly do appreciate it. Hope you all have a great day. Have a great weekend. Check out 221B Tactical. Get your Geeks and Gamers merch over there. The October meetup shirt is there, and it's only available until the 23rd. So make sure you get over there and get yourself that shirt, because once they're gone, they're gone. We'll see you in October in Orlando. It's going to be great. Have an awesome weekend, and we will talk to you later.